Okay, I'm here to talk about the United States changing to a federal flat income tax system. And to start, what is a federal flat income tax system? Currently, we have a progressive tax system where there's different tax brackets that people fall into depending on the amount of money you make. And the flat tax system is one where everyone pays the same rate. Currently, proposed rates are between 16 and 22%. Presidential candidates Herman Cain and Rick Perry are both sponsoring these types of plans these years. And this is not the first time it's been brought up, though. Another recent case was in 2005 with Senator Sam Brambrack becoming a flat tax system. Colleen Mahan says the tax system does not discriminate based on income level. Everyone pays the same percentage of income. Our points to you today are that the current tax system does not work because it is too complicated. Secondly, by changing to a flat tax, it would yield economic advancement, meaning it would make our country grow economically. And third, by changing to a flat tax system, our government would work better. Okay, so currently our tax system is very complicated. It doesn't allow it to work properly. According to the article, The Pros of a Flat Tax System, simpler is better when it comes to tax compliance. Most taxpayers dread having to deal with complicated tax rules and regulations, not to mention tax forms that seem to be written in a language other than English. This year I had to do taxes for the first time, and it was a nightmare, which I don't even make that much money, so I can't imagine what it's going to be like when I have kids and a husband and make a lot more money than now. But if we change to a flat tax system, it would be easy to calculate how much my taxes are. According to Colette Mahan, simplicity is considered a significant benefit of the flat tax system. One tax rate makes for an easy computation by the Internal Revenue Service, otherwise known as the IRS, and straightforward payments from taxpayers. Because the flat tax is only one income, it is easier to understand and report. Taxpayers save the financial costs of complying with the current IRS regulations, which often include lawyers, accountants, and other researchers. Personally, I think this is great because if you do have a lot of money saved up, you don't have to pay someone to do your taxes. You'll be able to figure it your own. So if it gets implemented now, in the long run, our generation will save a lot of money. Implementing a flat tax also gets rid of the death tax, capital gains tax, and double taxation of savings and dividends. For those of you who don't know what a double taxation is, Daniel Mitchell, a politician, says, here's a simple analogy. Imagine you make $50,000 per year and your employer withholds $5,000 for personal income tax. How would you feel if the IRS then told you that your income was $45,000 and you had to pay full tax on that amount, and you weren't allowed to count the $5,000 withholding towards your filed income tax? You would be outraged, correctly yelling and screaming that you should be allowed to count those withheld tax payments. Basically, double taxation means that you'll be taxed twice on the same amount of money. Currently, that's what's happening, but getting rid of the progressive tax system would get rid of that problem altogether. Secondly, by changing to a flat tax, our economy would grow. According to the article, The Pros of the Flat Tax System, with less burdensome tax rates under a flat tax, business booms and economic growth gets a boost. A lower flat rate also encourages investment. By changing the rate of taxes and evening out, some people will actually be saving money, which thus can be put into the market and boost our economy even more. An example of a country who has experienced just this is Estonia. Gregory Jethard writes, since instituting the flat tax, Estonia has emerged from obscurity to a member of the European Union and has also earned the nickname the Baltic Tiger due to its incredible growth rate for much history. From 2001 to 2007, Estonia grew an average of 9% per year. Well, some of you might say, where is Estonia? Why would we follow them? I don't even know where that is. Well, how about this? Jethard later writes, other nations have followed Estonia's lead and also adopted flat tax policies. First on board were Estonia's two Baltic neighbors, Lithuania and Latvia. Next came Russia, the biggest economy to have adopted this measure. Russia is also a world power, so why not adopt it like them? The article, The Pros of a Flat Tax System, says a flat tax is economically more efficient than a progressive one by eliminating the disincentive to work created by graduated taxes. In other words, the economic pie gets larger. The United States is also a superpower like Russia, and right now we're in a huge recession, but changing the way we do taxes would actually jumpstart our economy. Daniel Mitchell, who wrote the Global Flat Tax Revolution, Lessons for Policymakers, says to maximize the economic benefits of tax reform, A nation should have rule of law, property rights, sound money, limited government, and low levels of regulation. In such an environment, a flat tax ensures that the tax code will be an obstacle. It will not be an obstacle to growth. Isn't that what the United States wants? A way to jumpstart our economy and get out of the recession? Changing to a flat tax system would do this. Changing to a flat tax system would also be saving the government money, allowing them to actually be keeping more of it. The article, The Flat Tax Revolution, says the cost of compliance, administration, and enforcement are between 10 and 20% of revenue collected, equivalent to be between 1/4 and 1/2 of the government's budget deficit. The progressive system is in fact wasting the tax money that we are giving the government, and there's no way to change that except for changing how our tax system works. And lastly, by changing this to a flat system, our government would be more fair. Currently, the tax system brackets are unfair to all different groups of people. My family is a prime example because my parents get bumped up in tax rates because my grandparents left me and my brother money for college that we can't use yet because we're not of age. And so they get taxed on that, but really it's not their money, it's ours. So by switching to a flat tax, as proposed by Steve Forbes, he says this would mean that families living in the median household income would pay practically nothing to Uncle Sam in taxes. Wouldn't that be great? The poor are actually benefiting from this, even though many try to argue that the rich do. Another way it actually helps the poor, according to Steve Dowtry, a single tax rate for every earner would help poor paid workers and families with children, according to an influential research group. It says that the controversial flat tax system would be used to benefit the welfare benefit tracts. He's arguing right now that the welfare system we have, there's no light at the tunnel for there's no light at the end of the tunnel for the poor people because they're always going to be paying so much money and they can't afford it. I will leave you with this quote from David Mitchell. The right way to ensure both fairness and growth is the flat tax. Get rid of the 72,000 pages of corruption and complexity in the IRS code and replace it with a postcard-sized flat tax. One low tax rate with no double taxation. That's good for the economy and competitiveness.